Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you here today. We are riding on down the road. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised. Here we are. We're in the, I guess you can say, the last week of December, heading into to Christmas, and Royal Rumble right up around the corner. We pretty much already know that they're going to have a three-way for the WWE Universal Championship. But normally, you know, this time of year, we are jam-packed full of rumors of, you know, who the surprise entrants to the Royal Rumble are going to be, who WWE is reaching out to, trying to see if they would want to come in for a one-time, you know, shock appearance. Sometimes they're funny appearances, sometimes they're serious appearances, sometimes they're appearances that turn into guys getting signed, like Mr. Perfect in 2002. Where he would go on to become a member of the roster. Even though it wasn't a long run for Mr. Perfect, it still was a run. His last run, actually, in WWF. This year might be kind of hard for people to be sort of brought in as a surprise, because honestly, when it comes down to it, WWE has a lot of wrestlers under contract. They're going to want to use you know, their guys from 205 Live, the guys from Monday Night Raw, from SmackDown. Especially they'll try to bring some people up from NXT as they've done in the past few years. So it doesn't leave a lot of those, you know, guest mystery spots open. Plus, when it comes up to the point of how many guys they have under WWE contract already, whoever else is out there on the open market is probably going to be signed by TNA. They're probably going to be signed by New Japan Pro Wrestling. They might be under contract to AAA. As well as Lucha Underground. So there aren't that many true, you know, free agents that they could bring in. This year, as of right now, one of the first names that I've seen thrown out there is kind of a time issue, but I think it honestly would be really cool if this guy was coming into WWE to sort of have his first appearance be a surprise appearance, and then after that you can sort of work out if he's going to go to Raw, if he's going to go to SmackDown. And he's a name that had a run in WWE that honestly, I don't want to say it was one of the best runs of all time. It wasn't like Bobby Lashley was breaking records, but Bobby Lashley, he was in the title hunt. You know, he had matches against John Cena for the WWE Championship. He was the ECW champion, wrestled in possibly one of the biggest WrestleManias of all time against Umaga, which was basically Vince versus Donald Trump, the Battle of the Billionaires, where basically Vince McMahon got his head shaved. And, you know, since Bobby Lashley left the company on, you know, sort of bad terms, everybody's heard the story between him and Doc Hendricks, and basically just finding a way to get his release, you know. And then from there, he went on to fight for Bellator, as well as, you know, wrestling for Impact Wrestling. He had a really good run there, being one of the big time champions of the company, and being one of the guys like Bobby Roode that would sort of keep them afloat after the time that they lost, you know, Kurt Angle, Sting, AJ Styles, a lot of those guys. To me, honestly, I haven't heard about Bobby Lashley fighting for Bellator in a while. I don't know if he ever ended up losing a fight, or maybe if they just sort of lost interest because of his age. Maybe the deal between, you know, Bellator being featured on Spike and, you know, TNA Impact no longer being on Spike television. Maybe they just didn't want to, you know, feature the guy that much because of the way that those two companies ended up breaking up and going in their separate directions. You know, TNA now on their second network since leaving Spike, possibly one of the biggest blows to that company that there's ever been. I really think that Bobby Lashley coming into WWE is truly going to be a possibility in the future. I don't know when his contract runs out with TNA or Global Impact or whatever they're calling it this week. But Bobby Lashley entering into the Royal Rumble this year, I think, is a real true possibility. Also, rumors out there of EC3 leaving the company sooner than later, and we'll see where this goes from here.